Welcome back to my channel, Crafting with Nordy. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make a desktop calendar using thin chipboard, some solid color cardstock, and some pattern cardstock. We will be coil binding, so you will need a coil and you will need a binding machine. To get the cutouts of the year and our months, we will be using the Cricut app. And you will need some glue or double-sided tape of your choice. And for the calendar, in the inside here, I just did a screenshot of the calendar in my phone and printed it onto some sticker paper and cut it out to the size I needed it to fit in here. Now there's lots of free printable calendars out there that you can just download and size it to however you need it to fit in here. Okay, so to get started, go ahead and open that Cricut app and I'll show you how to get the cutouts for the year and the months. Okay, so we're in the Cricut app here. Go ahead and hit this plus sign here on the bottom. And this is what we're gonna be making over here. I just got a few examples. So I know that my squares that I'm gluing these cutouts to are gonna be 5 by 5. So, and my first square for my cover, it's black. That's what my cardstock is. And so what we're gonna do is make, if it'll let me move, is make this 2023, okay? And now we're gonna go back down to shapes here on the bottom left, hit that rounded one, and I'm going to make this 4.5 by 4.5. And this is so that we have a 1/4 inch border all the way around. Okay, now we're gonna go to text. I'm just gonna use copper plate and I'm gonna hit 2023. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that over and I'm gonna zoom in till I see those little squares here so I can just kind of drag it and just eyeball it to whatever I like. Okay, and I think I want that a little bigger. So, you know, something like that. Whoops, I put it to the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so I'm gonna center that, get that where I want it. Looks good to me. Go ahead and select the whole thing and then hit below, hit slice. Tap out, tap your shape and move it to the side and go ahead and get rid of these numbers. Okay. Okay, so now you can see as it places over, get it centered, and we got a 1/4 inch border all the way around. So we know that's what it's gonna look like, okay? And so for the months, there's different things that you can do. It's pretty much whatever you like. So mine that I did, I just did the 5 inch by 2.5 inch rectangle, and I just added January in there and did the same thing. You can use a rounded rectangle if you want to, and it'll give you a border like that, and that looks nice, you know, as well. You can go sideways with it like that, or you can just put the number 1. There's lots of different things you can do, you know, to just kind of make this whatever you want. So we would hit shapes, and I'm gonna go ahead and select the rounded shape, okay? And I'm going to make that a 5, well actually I'm going to make that 4.5, sorry. 4.5 by 2.5. I'm just giving you another example of what you can do. And that's just a rounded one, okay? And so then you can go back down to text. I'm gonna do number 1, and then I'm gonna bring that 1 where I want it, and then just drag it to the size that I want. And this is just to give you an example of, you know, other things that you can do. I gotta do this one at a time. Hit slice, tap out, move that out the way, get rid of that. Now get this one in here. And I'm gonna move it so I can see what I'm doing here. And I mean, I think that looks okay. So select it, slice, tap your shape, move it, get rid of what's left over. And so this is just another idea that you can do as well. So lots of little things you can do. I wouldn't laminate the cardstock since you're putting another piece of cardstock over it. It doesn't do well in the laminator that way. It'll just bubble. So trust me, I've tried that with other with other projects. So, you know, if you're gonna laminate, I wouldn't laminate two pieces of cardstock that are glued together. It just doesn't work out that well. If it's one piece of cardstock, it's usually fine, you know. So if you weren't going to glue this 2023 over a piece of cardstock, if you were just going to use the 2023 by itself, you can laminate that, and you know, that's fine. You could do it that way, but I mean, it's not necessary. I don't think it really needs to be laminated. It looks like it's going to hold up pretty good because cardstock's pretty strong. So you know, you do whatever you want to do. Okay, so for the next step, after you get all your months done the way that you want them, okay, and we have layers here on the side. So, you know, if you're just like, I'm just going to print the 2023, the rest of this I'm not printing, just select it all, and then to the right here under layers at the bottom, you see the little eye in between the plus sign and the trash can. It's just going to make those to where you can't see them. It's not going to get rid of them, okay? So then that's all you want to print or cut is that 2023. Hit make it. Have your mat ready, have your cardstock ready, and have your Cricut connected, and have your material setting set to cardstock or cardstock plus, whatever works best with your machine. And then hit next, and then once you're done getting all your cutouts done, we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so what I also wanted to add here was, if you don't want to use one entire sheet of cardstock and you just have like cutouts, remnant pieces left over, you can place them on your mat where you need to, and then you can place your months wherever you're going to place those remnant pieces on your mat. So then you're not doing, you know, changing this cardstock over and over and over again. So I went ahead and cut out some 5x5 pieces of cardstock just to make sure I had enough space to cut out these shapes. Okay, so that's what I was talking about as far as, you know, placing these remnant pieces where you need them on the mat, so you can just start getting several months done at a time. That's a lot more helpful. And these ones, I'm just gonna round the corners using my corner rounder over here. Okay, so the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to cut out your 5x5 inch solid cardstock, and that's going to be your pages that you glue your pattern cardstock to. And you need 13 5x5 inch pieces. And the cardstock that I'm using for that is Paperlane, and it's the precision cardstock, and it's the solid core. And the solid core means that when you cut into the paper, you're not going to see like a white inside. You're not going to see a white core. So it's going to be the solid color all the way through, okay? So go ahead and cut 13 of these 5" by 5" pieces of cardstock. So once you get all 13 of those cut out at 5 by 5 inches, you're going to go ahead and get your hole punch and make sure it's set to punching. And you are going to just hole punch all of them, okay? And make sure when you're hole punching, you're within the edges of your paper. You don't want it to be like that and then it kind of goes into another hole here, and then you got a notch that's going to get taken out. So just make sure you're giving yourself that little bit of spacing there, okay? Okay. Okay, so now that you got all of your cardstock cut out, go ahead and take that cardstock and get your month piece, and you're going to line it up just underneath the punch lines, okay? The original ones that I did, I didn't round the corners or anything. I just left it a regular rectangle so it lined up on all of the edges. And so I didn't hole punch until after I attached the pattern cardstock to the solid cardstock. But in this case, we went ahead and hole punched first. That way when we set this down, we have a border all the way around. And I gave these rounded edges and stuff like that as well, or rounded corners. So that way we still just have a border. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this down. And I don't recommend gluing because I'll show you one that I glued before. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's really wavy. And so you would need to, if you are gonna use glue, you would need to press these with something heavy until they were done drying, like maybe stick it under your cutting mat or something. But it would have to be there until it was completely dry to stay completely flat. So personally, I don't care to use the glue. Some of the other ones I did before, this is a mess up. It's really flat because I used the tape. And this one's a little bit wonky and wavy. It's lifting back here and here. You can see the waviness in the back and in the front. I mean, it's just not flat. And it just doesn't make it look as nice. And so I feel like using the tape just made it look nicer because it kept it flat. And another thing to account for is when you get your letters cut out for your months, don't forget those center pieces. Don't forget to take those off the mat and place them to complete your letters as well, because that was something I didn't account for when I was doing these ones, that I had to go back and get all my those little shapes put in there. So keep that in mind as well, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and glue, or not glue, but tape this piece on. And like I said, those little pieces, I would glue those just with like a small dot of glue, because you don't wanna be cutting out tiny pieces of double-sided tape. That's just annoying. Okay, so I went ahead and taped the whole back. Okay, I didn't go over the letters. Okay, so if anything's gonna lift up or anything like that, you can put a drop of glue on those and that will be enough, okay? So we wanna line that up just at the bottom of those hole punches, okay? And try to center it as best as you can. And just press that down. Okay, and if you need to get under these little areas, like I said, if you're having any issues with lifting, you can just get a tool like this and get a little bit of glue on it and just lift it up, and then I just put the glue on it like that and rub it underneath and set it down. And that worked out just fine for me. So I can show you. And it won't be that messy either. It's just get it underneath there. And then just go ahead and press that down. Just be gentle with these little areas that lift up. That way you're not messing them up or anything. And if you get a little bit of spill up, don't worry about it. Just wipe it up. It's gonna dry, okay? Tiny little bit that's and like just like that. Okay. All right. And so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut out our numbers for the calendar right here. And this is how I printed it out onto some sticker paper, because that was just going to make it easier for me. Okay, so we're just going to cut out. You can leave the month on there. I mean, you really don't need to. I did on this one, but that was just by accident. You know, I didn't really mean to. I did intend to actually cut that off because I don't need the month there when I already have it up here. So we need June. So what I'm going to do is get as close to these numbers as I can. Just pay attention to all the numbers going down, but you don't cut into them. Hopefully I don't. Okay. Now don't go crazy cutting them all out and cutting off the month right away, because then you might get confused and not know which one goes to which one. So you can keep the month on there and then cut it off just before you're going to add it. Okay, and we're going to get that centered on there as best as we can get it, and that's pretty much going to be it for that part. And having it on the sticker paper is just so much easier than having to glue all this or tape all this together. See what I'm doing here. And don't worry if it's not perfect. Okay, and there you go. So go ahead and do this for all 12 months and for your cover as well. You're going to line that under that punch line also for your cover. But go ahead and finish that, and then we'll move on to the next step, and that's going to be making the stand, this triangular stand for the back here. So go ahead and get that thin chipboard ready. Okay, so to make the stand piece in the back, this triangular stand piece, you want to get your 8.5 by 11 inch chipboard. It's really thin, but it's going to be pretty sturdy for this. And you want to cut this long ways at 5 inches. Okay. Oh, I don't usually use this one to cut my chipboard. And the footage I got of this, I don't know what happened. I didn't get the entire footage, so I'm doing it again. Okay, so now what you want to do is you want to cut this at 5.5. Okay. And then what you want to do is you want to come in 1/2 inch or so and score. Okay. Okay, and then you want to get both of these pieces and you want to hole punch them on this end, the opposite end of where you scored, because this is going to be the bottom, so this will be the top, and that's where you want to score that. So you can see it'll be like that. They're not going to be connected at the top. Okay, they'll connect here at the bottom. And so now you need a 2 inch by 5 inch piece. And we're going to cut that down to 5 inches this way, and now we're going to cut it this way at 2 inches. And then we're going to score it long ways at 1 inch. Okay. And then just go ahead and bend that on the score line. And then we will go ahead and hole punch these and make sure that your machine is set to punching. and that you're punching the opposite end of where you scored. So this is our top, this is our bottom. Just like that. Okay. And we will not attach this bottom piece, that's this piece in here. We're not going to attach that until after we coil bind. Okay, so this will be the very last thing that we do. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take our coil, and these are the coils that I'm using, and it's the 12 mil. And these flat ends right here are what's going to go on these hooks back here. Okay. Okay, so this is the front of my calendar. This is the back piece. I'm putting it in front. I'm placing the whole thing face down, okay? So I'm gonna just work this way. Make sure you're not skipping any holes or anything. You're getting those hooks into each of those holes. Okay, we're back at our front. And then our last piece is going to go on like that. Then we're going to flip this over, okay? And we're going to turn this to 12.7 because that's what we need to cinch this size of a coil. Stick it in there, and you want those flat ends on the top. And you see it closes that seam. Now we can flip it over and flip that back, and that seam is hidden in between our two pieces, which is going to become our stand, and we'll do that. We'll finish that piece next. Okay, so now since we've coil bound, now we're gonna do this back stand piece, and we're gonna get that 2" by 5" piece that we scored right down the middle, and we are going to tape it here on the edge. And on that 1/2" score mark that we made here, we want to make sure we push those down inward so that they're like that. Okay. And then we're going to put tape on this inside in here. Okay. And now we want that folded piece to go inside. So we just want to line up those ends. See what I'm doing. Okay, so it's inside there. Push that down really good. And that piece will fold in just a little bit. So it's in the back. So this way you can still flatten it out, package it, wrap it in something, and it'll still lay flat. Okay. And then when you open it up, you'll just set that down and it'll stay. And it flips like so. So I think it came out really cute. I think you can really just match this with whatever you got going on your desk or whoever you're making this for. I think these will be really cute to even sell. If you do like craft fairs or something like that, I think these will be really cute as well. I hope this video was really informative. I hope it helped you out a lot. I hope you liked it. Please hit that like button, share this video, and please subscribe. That would be great. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you again for watching and for supporting this little channel of mine. I really do appreciate that. So that's it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.